Hello and welcome to the official headquarters of the Creme de la Prem in Worthing, otherwise known as the Environment Agency's
Sponsored by
office.
you, the taxpayer.
Sponsored by
Thank
you, the taxpayer. You join us for the first knockout round cup draw of the cup and the bucket in the CDP this year. Doing things slightly differently. Bought a load of jelly beans because they're all weird colours. We've got one of those little turny things, but it turns out you can only get like 5 at a time. So, you know, we're sticking with the jelly beans. James is just going to pick them and then probably eat them. So, you have all been assigned a jelly bean. One jelly bean assigned to one person in the cup and the bucket at the same time. So there are 16 jelly beans. We'll send out a list prior. James sort of doing a fairly poor job of showing you there. And we'll crack on. Should we read through them beforehand or just go straight into it?
Go straight into it, I think.
Lovely, okay, fine. Well, James, please, without looking at the... one note. I should say that I told you that if you finished top of your group, you'd play someone second, but we've fucked that off. So, James, without looking, the first jelly bean, please.
Is Frosted Tips. That represents Robert in the cup. And myself in the bucket, the bouquet.
So Rob in the cup, James in the bucket. Will play.
Now that is Swollen Plums.
Swollen Plums.
Representing Garth.
Garth in the cup, so Rob versus Garth in the cup, and
Pole.
And Pole in the bucket, so James versus Pole. Got yourself a tie against Pole there, James.
I'm pretty pleased with that, actually.
Well,
we're both very, very bad.
Second tie, please. First jelly
is
bean.
Middle England.
Middle England.
That is Fuller in the cup.
Fuller. Will play, Fuller in the cup, and in the bucket it is
Thomas.
Tom. Okay, lovely. And they will play, please.
That looks like Rage Red to me.
Rage Red.
Could only be Bobby.
Bobby. Yep. So Fuller versus Bobby in the cup, and Tom versus
Phil.
Phil. Tom versus Phil. Two of the old boys there. Nice. Okay, fine.
Okay, next round. This looks very much like Weasley Orange.
Weasley Orange. And
Gregory.
Gregory in the cup, obviously, for Weasley Orange. Ron Weasley himself. And
Niall.
And Niall in the bucket. Obviously, Orange heritage.
We'll be playing.
We'll be playing.
Oh, I would say that's Mustard Men.
Mustard Men. Mustard Men.
Yeah,
so in the cup, that is
Barnaby.
Barnaby. Greg versus Barnaby. And in the bucket, it is Niall versus
Bungle.
Bungle. Okay, lovely. Tie number 4, please, James.
That is definitely Undercover Green.
Undercover Green.
Could only be Lee in the cup.
Lee. The lesser spotted Lee in the
Young
cup.
Ali.
And Ali, obviously. Undercover. Marnouvres.
In the bouquet.
And they will play?
Skidmark, but I think we changed it to Old Timer.
Old Timer, yes.
So Old Timer, Foy.
Foy in the cup, so Foy versus Lee in the cup, and in the bucket is Ali versus...
Nicholas.
Nick. Oh, Ali, Nick. Nick, of course, has beaten Ali all 12 times he's ever played him, so that's pretty funny. And fifth tie, please.
That is definitely Blue Man Blue.
Blue Man Blue, so in the cup that is...
Well, you know who that is in the cup, don't you?
Mr. Racket, and in the
it's
bucket,
Blue Man himself, Pete.
Pete. Brighton fan, Pete. Okay, thank you, and they will
We
play...
thought this through. They will be playing, that is Sitting Pretty, for those people that are indeed sitting pretty. So that is Sam.
Racket versus Sam in the cup. Tough one for Racket.
That is
there.
tough.
And Pete versus
Pedro.
So
that's an easy path through for.
Okay, and tie number 6, please, James. First up, we've got
Turd Brown.
Turd Brown. So these are the two people who did the worst in either qualifying for the next round or not qualifying for the next round in the cup, and they are
Josh, worst qualifier.
Josh, worst qualifier in the cup, and
Cooley, just worst.
Cooley, just worst performance in the group stage.
Just worst.
And they will play.
That looks like reminiscent of Spotted Dick to me.
Damn it! I wanted to play someone new.
Sorry, that's you. Spotted Dick.
Me versus Josh.
Andrew and Stu, of course.
Cooley versus Stu had only had to be reunited again. course.
Always.
And tie number 7, please, as we draw to a close.
This is Hawaiian pineapple.
Hawaiian
For those most
pineapple.
likely to be wearing a Hawaiian pineapple shirt, that is Tudor in the cup.
Tudor in the cup.
And your man Hugh.
And Hugh in the bucket. And tie number 7, tea number 2, please.
Now this one remembers of tampons and turds. That can only be Southern Water Outfall.
Southern Water Outfall.
So the cup is Will.
Will.
And Jamie.
And Jamie, a man who probably likes taking photos of Southern Water Outfall.
Just
So finally,
to confirm there's no jiggery pokey, we have a banana split,
banana split,
which is Crouch.
In the cup,
Mike.
and Mike in the boudoir, and finally
That must be
Dark
Destroyer.
Dark Destroyer, which in the
Wilson.
cup is Wilson, and in the bucket is
Colin.
Lovely. So we've got all of our ties there. I think, as you can see, we've got all of our lovely jelly beans that we'll be proceeding to consume very soon. So just to recap, the bucket, we've got James Pole, Tom versus Phil, Niall versus Bungle, Ali versus Nick, Pete versus Pedro, Cooley versus Stu, Hugh versus Jamie, and Mike versus Colin. As I think you can all agree, 8 ties that nobody really wants anything to do with. And in the cup, we've got Rob versus Garth, Fuller versus Bobby, Greg versus Barney, Lee versus Foy, Racket versus Sam, Josh versus Andy, Tudor versus Will, and Crouch versus Wilson. Thank you very much. And theoretically, these ties will take place game weeks 20 and 23, but fuck knows. If we don't get a 20, it will just be 23. If we don't get 20 or a 23, I'll probably just make something up. Or we'll just do this again and see who comes out as a winner. So, James?
No, that's summed it up very nicely. Thank you very much.
Nice.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
What a goal from Ricky Lambert! Ricky Lambert! Wow! That was liquid football! Yes, yes, yes!